Hello, everyone, and welcome to Dissecting Dance, Kicking It with Ren podcast, the podcast that opens up discussions about topics in dance. The goal of this podcast is to allow dancers and non-dancers alike to think about dance from new perspectives, as well as leaving room for discussion. Enjoy the show! Hi everyone, I just wanted to jump on here before the episode starts and let you all know that this episode was recorded in roughly March of 2024, so this was before the Dance Moms A New Era stuff came out on Hulu, so we will not be mentioning that at all. And also information that came out after March of 2024 will not be in this episode just because we recorded in March. And the other thing is that this episode is split into two parts, parts 1 and part 2. This is part 1 that you're listening to, and part 2 will be out on September 19th at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So yeah, thank you all for listening and enjoy the episode. Hello everybody and welcome to Dissecting Dance, Kicking It with Ren podcast.
Whoa, the crowd goes wild.
As you may hear, we have a guest, Mara. Would you like to say hi to the people?
Hello. How are we all doing?
Living. We're alive.
That's all we can do.
Have you seen, this reminds me, we're already off topic and we haven't even started. Have you seen that, so on TikTok, there was this, trend. It wasn't even a trend. It was just, Elmo posted something on Twitter.
God. Is it the Rocco one?
No, it's not Rocco.
Okay.
It's, Elmo apparently went on Twitter and he was like, so, how's everybody doing? And everyone was like, I'm not doing good.
Oh.
I'm on the edge, Elmo.
Oh, God.
I'm poor Elmo.
I mean, is Elmo even old enough to be on Twitter? Sure, he's been around for a very long time, but how old is he canonically supposed to be?
That's part of the joke, too. Because he's technically 3 years old and only lives in Elmo's world.
Mm-hmm. But he's 50. I think that's how long Sesame Street has been around. Something like that.
50.
Something like that. Sorry,
Yeah.
I have no concept of time, so.
It's okay, me neither. but basically, these people responded to this and was like, they said it, and then Elmo was like, responded to everybody saying, wow, I'm glad I checked. This is a reminder to check in with your friends.
Aw, that's so sweet.
And I was like,
Sesame Street, wants to do some mental health awareness.
I know. They were like, what a good opportunity. And then all the other characters on Sesame, all of their Twitter accounts started responding, being like, hey, everybody, I know Elmo said he's here, but I'm here too.
Oh.
And then the dude in the trash can, I don't know what his name is.
Groucher?
Oscar the Grouch?
Oscar the Grouch.
Is that what it was?
It's Oscar the Grouch. I just mashed the two together. Yeah, Groucher.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Groucher.
Yeah.
It'd be like Grousker.
Grousker, yeah.
That's a good combo.
Sorry.
But
I just had a Katie Heron moment.
it's okay.
Gruel.
But,
Speaking of, just kidding.
but basically he had this his Twitter was, his post was also really sweet. And he was like, I'm not the best person you can talk to about this, but my worm Slimy is a really good listener. Or something.
Ew, I don't want to talk to a worm.
But I was like, what a great way to demonstrate boundaries to 3-year-olds.
Yeah, no, totally. But also, while we should check in on our friends, maybe talking to only an internet person or, through an internet platform isn't the only way, or should be the only way to say your feelings,
Right.
To reach out to a trusted adult
or
friend or whatever.
Yeah.
But
yeah, social media isn't always the right place to do that.
Yeah.
But I think that you can tell that all the people were adults. It's like
I sure hope a 5-year-old does not have a Twitter, but they
probably do have a Twitter.
Yeah. No, yeah, I understand, but also, maybe not.
If you're an adult, I kind of get it, but if you're
kind of get having a Twitter account?
not having a a Twitter account, but like
their intended audience was someone who's not on that platform.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
It's like a Microsoft Edge. I'm gonna leave it at that. But anyways.
Yeah, but I'm like, if you're a kid, you should probably talk to an adult. But if you're an adult, what kind of adult is there?
One that's trying to talk to their former childhood best friend, and that's Elmo. Yeah, and Elmo's always gonna be there for us.
Elmo is always gonna be there for us.
You're like the Rage Fire Elmo, like that's me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think he knows that. Is he aware of the meme?
He has to be aware of the meme.
Interesting.
I would love to see him respond to that. I bet I'm willing to bet that
you've missed out on the Elmo lore.
I'm willing to bet that somebody on Twitter was like, "Hey, hey Elmo, what do you think about this meme?" I'm willing to bet that somebody responded to Elmo's question with that meme.
Yeah,
like they have to. I don't understand why.
I mean, also like, how dystopian is it? Like that all brands and not all characters, but like characters have Twitter accounts. I recently watched a video that was talking about Old Navy, and you remember those like mannequins that had like regular faces and like so they all had names, and they all had Twitter accounts, and so like each year they would be like quote unquote auditioning to be part of the Old Navy like lineup.
Yeah.
They're mannequins, so obviously I'm not sure what kind of auditioning they're doing. And then the last year of like their like campaign, when they decided to retire these mannequins, they were just like, auditioned this year and didn't get it, so it's okay, I'm just gonna move on to new endeavors. Like so it was just really strange.
That sounds like something I've seen on YouTube. You know how there's like YouTube creators who like have these Barbies, like they use Barbies and they like kind of tell their own stories. They make their own animated thing.
Yeah.
It's really giving that.
No, I love those videos of, I don't know what they're called, but they're like kind of fuzzy, velvety like animals. And people will do the craziest things like divorce or like whatever, like they're adults. They're like real adults, just doing like the most like crazy like adultery like crazy things, and they're like doing it through this like toy medium.
Oh my gosh.
Medium.
This gives me a very distinct memory of when I was 10. I was 9 or 10 years old, and I had a friend over, and we both had the same American Girl doll.
Oh my goodness, besties.
It was Kirsten. We both had Kirsten. I don't know how
I had my like the one that looked like me.
Oh, okay, like a lookalike.
Yeah. I love that game, by the way. I also, this is another tangent, I miss Pixie Hollow and Club Penguin. I think we need to bring those back. I know that there's the Club Penguin app version, but that's just not the same.
It's not you need a computer. You need something. You need a monitor. Like, we need a computer in the family room.
Yeah.
And it's only Club Penguin.
I also have the
Webkins. Webkins is another one.
I have the Movie Star Planet app, and I don't use it. Like I was always like, oh, like I'll just like log in and see like whatever, but it's just kind of sitting in my like phone. Yeah. And like every time I'm like trying to use the search bar, it's like at the top, so I always like accidentally like click onto it. Yeah. And then it's like loading. I'm like, oh my goodness, I have to get out of this. Yeah. Anyways, go back to what you were saying. I don't even know what you were. Oh, when you were 10.
Yeah, when I was... I didn't even finish my story.
Sorry.
Yeah, so I was 10 years old, and I was a very interesting child.
Okay. I think you're still an interesting child.
Thanks, bestie. I'd rather be interesting than boring.
So true. Snaps to that.
Snaps at the mic. But my friend was like... She's very... we're technically not friends. Nothing happened. We're distant now.
This is a diss track to you. Just kidding.
No, but she was like a very like sweet, kind person.
Okay.
And me, hyper emotional, just constantly trying to
putting her through it. You only had a bond of American Girl dolls, and you were really testing it. I'm just kidding.
Well, Honestly, that might have been true.
Oh God.
I don't remember. I was 9.
You know, we were all going through things. You know, we were trying to figure out how to be like people. So like giving yourself some grace is important. You know, we might have been, you know, very interesting people, but it's like, you know, we're better now.
We're better now. Well, who knows?
Who knows? We've grown.
I still feel like a quirky 9-year-old. But
yeah.
Anyways, so she, you know, the way that I was trying to play. We're already almost 10 minutes.
10 minutes of a tangent.
But
that's what I was looking at the time.
Yeah, I was playing with like the way that I played and the way that she played were very different things. Mm-hmm. And
some parallel play action right there.
I played with a lot of violence.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I don't remember like, but she was like trying to play all sweet and nice.
Oh,
like,
goodness.
Play
She's
house.
like, let's play house. And you're like, let's destroy some zombies. Like,
it wasn't like that. But I don't remember what exactly the storyline was to what I was trying to do.
Okay.
But I do know that there was it wasn't aggression towards her. It was like, maybe it wasn't even aggression. Maybe it was just passion for the play.
Okay.
Passion for the play. That's what we'll call it.
If there's one thing you're going to be, is passionate about the play.
So there's a lot of like, I've seen it on TikTok, like kind of like what you mentioned about the divorce earlier. I was trying to get to that point where it's like, how dare you divorce me? Mm-hmm. What are the like my parents haven't gone through a divorce, but you know
full well what's going on there.
Yeah, I definitely did a bit of parallel play, and it was a little aggressive.
Okay. She's like, I don't want to do this, and you're like, you have to.
And she was like, let's play house, like let's be gentle, and I'm like, violence.
Yeah, let's be a nice married couple. Like, I hate you. You should leave. And our twin daughters do not care for you.
So yeah, I don't remember how our conversation led to me sharing that story.
I don't know.
But
yeah, like, what was the reason? What was the reason?
There was a mention of parallel play. I think that's what happened.
Okay. And you're like, yeah.
And I was like, I remember that. I remember that memory.
Okay.
And that's what kind of made me realize maybe I wasn't a normal kid. Which, like I said,
this was the first time you noticed that.
Maybe it wasn't that. I think I always knew. I just didn't care.
Yeah, I mean that's good. You know, you shouldn't be too worried about what other people think of you.
Also, I was very hypersensitive as a kid, so everything in the universe caused extreme emotions.
That's so sad.
And that hasn't changed. But I know how to. As a kid, I knew that I should release my emotions.
That's good.
That's the positive. Anyways, life that this is enough of my personal life. My childhood, whatever.
Your fans just want to know your lore.
My fans just want to know my lore.
Yeah.
Every episode, I feel like there's a bit of lore. It's gonna be if I ever become podcast famous or whatever, I don't know what they call it in podcast land.
Just famous.
I don't even know. Dude.
There's too many podcasts to be
yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
It's gonna be like Twitch. Like if you have one viewer, you're automatically 10% of the top of the top whatever streamers. I don't know what the actual statistic is.
The majority of streamers are me.
Yeah, actually, they have a lot of profiles. Mm-hmm. And currently streaming all the time.
But whenever I post an episode, I'll always play it back after it's posted, usually on Spotify, just to make sure that mainly just to make sure that it worked.
That's good.
And that it transferred okay. It's kind of like
you've got to listen to yourself a lot. Well, I mean, I listen to you on Apple Podcasts, so that's where I get my...
Oh, thanks, bestie.
Yeah.
I appreciate your support.
Yeah. I don't know what episode I left off on, but, the episodes that I did watch, I thoroughly enjoyed.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I try to make my podcast episodes entertaining. Mm-hmm. But
that's the goal.
Yeah, that's the goal here. But anyways,
on to our topic.
So, we'll talk about it. We'll say what the topic is, and then I want. Do you want to be quizzed, or do you just want me to say a fun fact?
Oh goodness. I mean, you could. It depends what you're looking for. Because if you want to quiz me, I don't know anything. I probably will give you the wrong answer. But if you want to give a fun fact, whatever. So, do you want to humiliate me a little bit? That's fine.
Okay, your scale of your scale of humiliation is up to you.
I really don't care. I think it's funny.
If you're okay with the embarrassment, then
I'm totally fine. We are always learning as human beings. So, there are some things that I don't know, and there's a lot of things that I do, Mm-hmm. You always know something that another person doesn't.
That's very true.
Fun fact.
That's very true.
That's my fun fact.
That's very true. Don't die, please.
I'm fine.
Anyways, so do you want to say what our topic is?
Our topic is drumroll, please.
Drumroll.
It's really anyways. Dance moms.
Dance moms.
Dance moms.
My girl is with.
What is the intro song?
Living on the dance
Oh right,
floor.
sorry, you're singing it.
I don't even know if I got the lyrics right.
I know the end of it is living on the dance floor.
Living on the dance floor. Don't
Beautiful.
Copyright strike me.
I don't think they can. I think it's a little too off the original. They're like, we can't even cross-reference this to the original.
It's so bad we can't even prove it.
So true.
Anyways, so I'll quiz you because
okay.
I mean, in all honesty, like
you probably
really
know more.
I literally Googled it.
Oh, okay. I was just gonna say you probably know more than I do.
I knew the question. I knew the question, but I didn't know the answer. Oh, okay. So it's like I looked it up just to make sure, and I actually did get it wrong.
Oh, okay. So like you had your private humiliation.
I had my private humiliation, but it's okay. I embarrass myself all the time, so it's okay. So bestie, what year did you see it?
No, I didn't.
Okay, bestie. What year was Dance Moms first aired?
Oh God. 2006.
No.
2009.
No. Well, do you want to? I can also give you the answer.
Is it higher or lower?
It's higher.
Higher.
Yeah.
How old am I? Higher. Okay, I remember being. How old was I? Hold on. How was it higher?
In 2009?
Yeah. 2011?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I was like trying to cross-reference it because I was like, I remember, people talking about it. It was this age. Yeah.
Yeah, it was aired in 2011. Yeah.
That feels so late to me.
They did a lot of filming, maybe? I'm not really sure.
Maybe. I'm not. Interesting. I don't know why that feels late to me.
I understand.
Yeah. Because obviously they were like, older children. They weren't like older children, but they were not 5-year-olds.
Right.
Right? They didn't start as 5-year-olds.
I know that Mackenzie was 5.
I mean, yes.
Or she was 6.
Okay, so then they were like at least like 9.
They're our age. Most of them. I think Maddie's like your age.
Okay.
And I think like Chloe and
Maddie's
Mia,
my age? Okay.
Maybe? I don't really know. But I do know that
that's just like that's crazy.
I do know that Chloe was like I know that we are like we're not too far off in age.
That makes sense.
Less than 6 months.
Oh, okay.
So I do know that I do know that like that's kind of how I
Do you have another fun fact?
What?
Do you have another fun fact? I just asked them like a really crazy question. Do you? Another fun fact?
About what? What do you want to know?
About Dance Moms.
About Dance Moms?
I thought you had a couple. Sorry. If you only had the one.
I usually only do one.
Oh, sorry. I thought it was going to be like a pop quiz.
Oh, no. I only do one fun fact.
Okay, sorry.
It's okay.
I'm ruining the routine.
It's okay.
5, 6, 7, 8. Sorry, that was really loud. I was channeling my inner Abby.
I watched like the little waves just like max out.
There's one thing I can do is max out.
Of course, because they in dance they always say it's better to go big than it's better to do too much than too little.
That's so true, because you can always tone it down.
You can always tone it down, usually, but it's so much harder to tone it up.
There's some people who you can't tone down though.
Yeah.
Not saying that's like a bad thing, but if you're looking for a specific artistic vision, sometimes it's a bad thing.
Yeah.
But we love people who are unique.
We love uniqueness.
Yes.
We love people who are extra.
Oh, that goes into our disclaimer. All of our opinions are our own and may change at any time. So like if I see you on the street and you like come at me and you're like, I hate you for what you said at this moment in time, I probably might not even have that opinion then. So
yeah,
opinions are flexible, and also I don't hate anyone.
Yeah.
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 And this is no hate to anyone at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just how it is.
Read audio. What's it called? What's a listener discretion?
Listener discretion.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of what we're going to be talking about is like, I mean, I'm really good at talking trash, but but our thing is going to be like, we're both dancers.
Yes.
Like we both are in the dance world in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
And so our goal is to, as dancers, kind of talk about just how dance moms affected the dance world.
Yeah. And then also like our experiences shouldn't like invalidate your own or someone else, Yeah. It's just like how our specific dance community was impacted and how we personally saw the world.
Right.
Yeah. And then also, you could think differently in 5 years.
Right. Like opinions change.
So true. So true.
Yeah.
Please don't come at us.
We're fragile.
Well, we're fragile. And they're like, I don't know about you, but I'm fragile.
I'm fragile. I'm very sensitive.
Yeah. So Abby Lee Miller, please don't be too mad at us. But I'm sure also you might be a little self-aware. You know what I mean? Like if you're doing harm, I sure hope you're a little self-aware.
Yeah, that's what I would hope.
But also, I don't know.
I'm also trying to think about the fact too that the show, like I'm trying to, like when it comes to specific characters on the show, and I'm saying characters because it is reality TV.
Yeah, like we don't know these people. We don't know anything about who they really are. It's just the persona that has been given to them.
Yeah.
Or that is like portrayed in whatever.
Yeah.
There was something else I was going to say. I have no idea what it was.
I interrupt me when you remember.
Okay.
Yeah. But I mean, we might touch a bit on like what these characters are doing like outside of the show, but this episode is primarily going to focus on stuff that happened within the show.
Yeah, like I have no gripe with a specific person or anything like that. Like it's not like we're not talking about like I guess the microcosms of the Dance Moms universe.
Yeah.
It's more of like what majorly most people took from them and like how that impacted things in our life.
Yeah. A lot, if anything, it's more of like if this were to be a jab at anyone, it'd probably be production about their lack of knowledge.
Yeah, and then also just like the reality TV space. Like
yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of reality TV, and
it drives me crazy.
I was gonna say that also. Like I know a lot of people are very into reality TV and like that sort of thing. I personally can't handle it, just because I don't know. I'm a baby.
That's okay.
I'm a baby. I can't handle screaming very well. And that's even coming from like someone who's like had a bunch of teachers yell at them.
Right.
Like I still, even if I know it's fake, I will still get hurt. Like I can't handle it. I like get into like fight or flight. And I know a lot of people, they're fine with that. They can like separate reality from truth and stuff like that. But like I personally do not like the show. I'm just gonna say that beginning of it. Like, here's my bias. I hate the show. There are some really cool things that come out of it, but like I to me, there's no benefit in my life for the show and me.
Right, yeah.
So, yeah.
The show was produced mainly for entertainment.
Yeah, absolutely.
And when I don't watch the show anymore. Whatsoever. But I am the kind of person where like, if there, in any show that I watch, if there's even like a fight, like I'll skip it. I'll be like, you know what? I'll get the summary of it later.
Yeah.
Like, we'll have an idea on what happens. And if I need context, I'll look at subtitles.
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah. I mean, I could go into like why. I don't know if that we want to talk about like why we feel these ways towards it now.
Maybe later.
Okay, we'll talk about it later.
Let's talk about Dance Moms.
Dance Moms. Oh, I mean like why I don't like Dance Moms.
Oh.
Because of that.
Oh, okay, yeah, you can talk about that now.
Okay.
I thought we were getting too personal.
Oh, no, not personal. I mean, it's a little personal, but it's not like, you know, I'm sure like a lot of people have felt this way. It's not like, I'm not telling you where I grew up and whatever.
Yeah. Go for it.
Okay, so the reason I really don't like Dance Moms is because the dance studio that I grew up in really tried to mirror that, like, energy. So, like, I was kind of like towards the lower, like people didn't really like me that much, and like all of, you know, moms and like the kids and stuff like that were always like talking behind each other's backs and always trying to create this really toxic environment, especially with like, I mean, this is just in general with the arts and like things that are really expensive, people who have money, and also people who their parents can stay with them during like this activity. My parent could not, so like people talked behind me and my mom's back because they were like, oh, like, well, she can't even like be there for like, you know, just like I'm in class and they're like sitting out there, like what's the point,
right?
You know, so like things like that. So like my huge gripe with it is everyone looked up to the show and tried to recreate that in real life, and so it's like very triggering to me of like Dance Moms and that culture and that sort of thing. Right. So that's all I have to say about that.
No, that's fair. I enjoyed the show as a kid, and you know, no one in my family was really involved in dance, so I kind of, there's like a cheesiness to being a dancer too, where your family just finds something, anything dance related, and they're like, oh, you're a dancer. Yeah. Here's this like something about a tutu or whatever. Like, and it was obviously with good intentions.
Yeah.
But yeah, I enjoyed the dancing as a kid. I enjoyed watching the dancing. When it came to drama, my brother watched for the drama and I watched for the dancing.
That's really funny.
But yeah, so back then I loved Dance Moms because I enjoyed watching the dancing. But watching the drama part as a kid, the moms fighting.
Yeah.
But I think at that time was around the time when my mom started dropping me off for dance. Like there was like a small period of time where background noise is distracting me. But there was a small period of time where as a kid, you know, my mom would sit in the lobby and wait for me to be done with my classes. But then as I started taking more classes, you know, she started dropping me off because she has her own stuff to do.
Yeah.
So like, luckily, I'm very lucky in the fact that my studio was very passionate about not being like that.
I mean, that's good.
like from the get-go, like my studio, I don't even think my studio could. The whole point of my studio was to not have a competition team. Yeah. Like I feel like that was kind of.
Yeah, that's also kind of context on mine. We did not have a comp team either. It was purely a ballet studio, and we took some jazz, we took some like whatever. It was just like there was this like crazy superiority complex going around.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Of like people wanting to be better than everybody else. So like it was like, ooh, like who do you think's the better dancer? And like, you know, like whatever. And then also I feel like the whole like, you know, being like privileged and that sort of thing. Like obviously we are both privileged, but being privileged enough to have your parent like be there every second of the time, being able to spend so much money and continuously commit to everything that you're doing.
It's very, having your parents be at the studio it's very unrealistic.
Absolutely.
I mean, I haven't even seen out of the sorry, dying here.
You're fine.
Out of all the studios I went to, like, they don't have an observation area for parents. That's one thing that, like, you don't really think about is, like, in my studio, I mean, there's a very, very small window and a door into the studio. Or into, like, for each studio space that there is.
Yeah.
Even, like, there's no designated area for people to just observe class.
See, like, we didn't really have that either. I think the least toxic dance studio environment I ever went to was one that did have, like, an observation sort of thing.
Really?
Yeah, but also the parents didn't really stay.
Yeah.
So I think it may have been because of that, and also, like, I think the idea around there was, like, our kids are here because they enjoy it. I don't really want to get to know each other because there's no like, we all are, you know, have fancy jobs and, like, whatever, like, I don't really care what you think. So
right.
Yeah, I think that was just, like, the idea. But also I was freshman year of college, so this was obviously not a very, like, it was an important time for me to be like, oh wow, like, dance studios can be, like, non-toxic.
Right.
But it, like, obviously, like, I wasn't a kid, I couldn't, like, grow up with this, like, environment. So
yeah.
Less impact than if I grew up in it, obviously.
Right. Yeah.
So
because when you grow up in it, you get used to it.
And
I'm very grateful that I grew up in the dance environment that I did.
Yeah.
Because I also feel like I was taught a lot about my worth.
And that's, like, I think a very important thing for dancers, especially, like, I think dancers are dancers have no real autonomy of, like, their own art, and how much it's very, like, you are replaceable, you can always be replaced. So like, you know, with singers, like, that's less so, like, they're probably, like, you know, they're paid more, you know, people, they get more, like, acclamation. That's the wrong word. Accolades, that's the word I was looking for. Just acknowledgement in general, more than like dancers and, like, I guess, like, physical artists and, like, that sort of thing. So I don't know, it really depends.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's good. I'm glad that you were able to get that, like, early on, because I think that's the most important thing, that, like, people really only start developing once they're going into a career, a dance career specifically.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so I need
30 minutes and we barely talked about Dance Moms.
That's okay. People, we'll put chapters and people can skip to it.
So true.
Yeah, so some of the way that we're going to be talking about, like, talking about Dance Moms, like, there's certain specific moments, but there's also, like, looking at Dance Moms in more of a broad light. And, for example, like, we can both agree that Dance Moms had a significant impact on not only the dance community, but how people view dance.
Yeah.
And how dance is interpreted on social media.
Yeah, and just, like, pop culture in general.
Yeah.
Like, there's a reason why, like, now, like, drag, you know, like, Drag Race has such a cultural moment.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's started out from Dance Moms. It's like, you know, because they have that dance aspect to it. Obviously, like, drag queens have been around forever. So, like, I'm not saying, like, they're the only reason, like, whatever. It's just, like, it's been amplified. Like, oh, we have this competitive, like, art form. Here's another one, but with adults who, like, are gonna, you know, shit talk each other to no end.
Yeah.
So.
I think the big difference is that RuPaul's is, like, it's adults. So
yeah,
that's the big.
No one's getting hurt in, like,
nobody's getting hurt.
You know, I can go to a therapist if I really need to, you know.
Yeah.
I'm not, like, having to reframe all of my childhood because I was in the show when I was younger.
Right.
So, yeah. I just think, okay, this is going on a different topic, but I think we should stop putting children in media like this.
I think we should too.
Especially reality TV shows.
Yes. I think children, this is going to be a very, very hot take.
Yeah.
But I think children under the age of, like, 16 just don't belong on social media anymore.
Yeah.
And I say anymore and we can definitely bring this back into dance. And there's multiple reasons why I feel that way. And one, the internet was different. Like, the internet, I would say back then, it would be more appropriate. Like, there was a time when I would say...
It was more educational than, like, whatever. But also, nowadays, the reason that we have, like, 10-year-olds in Sephora and stuff... Well, first of all, 10-year-olds have always been in Sephora. But
they have, but these 10-year-olds are different.
Yeah. That's because we're no longer catering to a teen audience. Or like a tween audience. So like now kids, they're growing up, they skip this stage because they don't have that like representation. Right. So like we don't have Bethany Mota or like things like that. I mean they were adults or like like older teenagers. Mm-hmm. So like there is value to having that, but at the same time there's so much like screwed up things with the entertainment industry that it's like, is this worth it? Or like I think also like we need to stop making fun of people. I mean, like I don't particularly like JoJo Siwa, but like she was an adult doing. Well, like actually, I don't know when she started. Was she?
She was on Abby's Ultimate Dance Competition.
No, I remember that. But when she started doing her singing stuff,
it was like I think she left like season 6.
Is that when she started her singing stuff?
I think it was during her time on Dance Moms. I know that because
then never mind, that completely negates my point. But like still people were making fun of her for, still holding on to this childhood, like whatever with the bows and stuff like that, even when she was like, 18 or whatever. Which is really toxic. And it's like, we need to have those spaces where, children are not trying to be like adults.
Right. So. Right. But yeah, so like you basically said, like the internet is just different now than it was. Yeah. So, I mean, I feel like, I can't, I'm sure that the internet has affected everybody in a negative way, especially those 10-year-olds. Oh Definitely. My God. But but also like, there's different perspectives. Like there's looking at children being influencers on social media. Yeah. And then there's children being consumers on social media.
That's true.
And I still feel the same about both. Like, you got, like, bestie, like, at least 16. At least when you have enough self-esteem and enough self-worth to... That's true. Because also, like, at this point, there aren't many social media apps that filter content for children.
That's true.
Like it's... They're doing better, but it's difficult. Anyways, that's besides the point. But I want to go into the aspect of influencer culture on dance. Okay. So there are, I don't want to say names of children. Yeah. Because they deserve the liberty of if they sue their parents. And
that's true. Or leave the internet forever.
Yeah, like I want to give them the liberty to do. I
don't even know any names. I'm not following any children on the internet. It makes me uncomfortable when I see weird children doing like extreme acts of like dance and stuff like that. When I see someone like on point and they're 6 years old, I'm scrolling away immediately. I don't want to see any of that. And then there's like people in the comments. They're like, "Oh my goodness, she's like such a prodigy, whatever." Blah 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 blah. I'm like, this is so harmful.
Like that child is probably going to quit dance at soon,
or just like not be able to dance, not be able to dance at like age 18. Yeah, like we're already getting like developing arthritis and like things like that, things that are disabling just because we've pushed our children way too hard at an early age and unhealthy standards, especially with the whole like eating disorders are going to be around forever. It's always been a thing and always will be a thing. So it's just we're now back into the wave of thin is in. So like you're already like starving children because they want to look a certain way and fit a certain profile, but then also like you're making them do these crazy things that like could be irreversible to their growth.
Exactly. There's also very disgusting people out there who are consuming that content.
Oh, absolutely. You don't know when you post something, you don't know who's going to see it on the other side. Right. I've seen a lot of videos talking about the like whole Mean Girls, like guess our Regina, about all the high schoolers, because you're letting the whole internet know like here these children go to this high school, they have this schedule, and you know where to see them, because like social media used to be like just people around in your area, like right, or like it wouldn't be pushed to the nether in all spaces. Right. But like now it's like I'm seeing this in fucking Lithuania, you know?
Right. Like, or even like, yeah. Like, yeah, from a consumer standpoint, I don't know any influencers from there.
Yeah. So I avoid that content to an extreme.
I've been blocking people. Like,
I just don't see it on my thing just because I don't interact with it. So
yeah. I don't know why I still get that stuff. I try really hard to avoid it. But yeah, so that's the whole thing. But there's also like the old men who are. Ew. I know it's disgusting, but I feel like we have to say it.
I know
because there's a creator on YouTube who, and I'm also like, I'm also not going to mention their name. Mm-hmm. Who went onto Social Blade and actually bought the stats for a bunch of different family vlog channels. And even for like the child influencer dancer who's like a prodigy.
Yeah. And well, I also know that like a lot of children influencers, their stuff is being managed by their parents. So like they're not like the ones who are seeing the comments most of the time. Well, I mean, right. In these specific cases, I've seen like young children dancers on Instagram saying managed by mom or managed by dad, like stuff like that. But at the same time, like I understand that, and like also the space is becoming more and more like, oh, if you want a career, you better have a social media and like it better have followers and like that sort of thing, which I think is also crazy because it's like there's just so much, like when you're a celebrity, there's steps being taken. You're becoming a celebrity. If you're just posting on the internet, you don't know if you're going to become an influencer at any given point. And there you go. All of your privacy, all of your you're getting doxxed, all these types of things. You don't know when this is going to happen, if it's going to happen. So I just think that's really awful that it's like becoming the norm. Yeah. To have a media following, to be able to like have jobs in the arts.
Yeah. I think it's nasty because it's an algorithm too.
Oh, absolutely. Because it's like, oh, are you white, skinny, and all these other things? Mm-hmm. Like, okay, if you're not, fuck off.
Or a man. But anyways, but what I'm getting at here is that this guy, he bought the statistics for social, like, and one of them was like the dancer that I'm mentioning a million times. Ugh. No more details about her because I want to protect her privacy. Yeah. But like I saw something about how like a good percentage of people interacting with her posts are like men who are older than 25. Yeah. And I'm not going to go like this isn't the
I think this is like for plenty of things. Like I don't think that's very specific because most of these content, like family farm content sort of things, that was a weird word anyways, have these same statistics because that's what these people are looking for. Yeah. So I think you're fine with that.
Obviously, like, I'm talking about a dancer because this is a dance podcast.
That's true.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm just highlighting the dance part specifically. Like, these dancers, these children are not only doing like very impressive things for their age, and impressive isn't even the word for it. Yeah. Because frankly, it's not impressive. It just makes me sad. Yeah. But basically, yeah. But there's also this portion too of like, costuming, which I think is very influenced by dance moms. Yeah. Because as somebody who was never exposed to competition dance as a kid,
same. Though I did want to like do some of the, I cannot remember its name. It's Pre-La something. It's the French, like it's the ballet stuff, the ballet comp. Yeah. I wanted to do it, but at that time I like didn't have enough technique to be able to do it. Anyways, that's really off topic.
That's okay. What were we talking? Oh, what really shocked me about like Dance Moms culture and how like was the dance attire that the dancers wore on the show. Yeah. And costuming is a whole thing. Like that's a whole can of worms.
I mean, the bad costuming choices are not limited to Dance Moms, and it never started at Dance Moms. But
it wasn't just bad. Like I mean like the sexualization
in
the costumes.
Yeah.
That was a shock for me, but also just what the dancers wore to class.
Absolutely.
Which they wore sometimes they'd wear a leotard and shorts.
Yeah.
But sometimes, for the most part, and I don't sports bra. It was
a sports bra and shorts.
And shorts.
Yeah, like really small shorts.
Really small shorts, and these dances are like, it's very exposing.
Yeah, and then for you not to even, I mean, sure, your parents like signed off on it, but like, you know, what if I don't want to go into a job that like isn't related to the arts? And like now everyone has seen me as a child in very revealing outfits and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And you can never take that off the internet, especially with how much it's become a crazy thing.
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely. But that was like one of the big shocks to me. And also like, I think it's important in the dance world to like consider that, because when I was a kid dancing in a studio, I'm sure that if it were the norm, I would have ended up being okay with it. Like I probably would have dealt with it. But bestie, I had so many issues with like body image and my looks that I wanted to cover, like I opted to cover up as much as I possibly could, even from when I was a kid. So
yeah, we had uniforms. Well, like it wasn't very, I know some studios have like the colored leotard for each level. We just had black leotard and tights. So we had if you weren't wearing that, like you were wearing something wrong. So.
Yeah. Our dress code, I mean, our studio has always been strict on like being covered up as well.
Yeah.
But my dress code, it differed depending on the classes. Like ballet was very much black leotard, pink tights.
Yeah.
And then as I got older, they were eventually a little more flexible, but that wasn't until like right before I graduated.
Yeah.
When something like that happened.
Yeah.
Hold on, I have to sneeze.
Bless you.
Thanks. What was I saying?
Your uniform.
Yeah. Uniform was also like leotard and black leotard, pink tights. And but also like, the ALDC was never ballet heavy either.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of people, the criticism that if anything we probably got was, oh, but it's normal. But to me it's like, you're also like, I mean, you could look at it, and when it comes to the internet especially, people are going to be like, you have to look at this, like you can't just only look at this as like a sexual thing.
Yeah.
Well, when it comes to the internet, bestie, there are going to be people out there who are looking at the internet like that.
Absolutely. And also like, I just like coming from like a, warming up sort of perspective, if you're coming in with a sports bra and shorts, it's going to be much harder to keep warm throughout the process, especially if you're taking breaks and that sort of thing. It's just not like it's not very conducive to actual movement unless you're just doing it for like an hour.
Right.
And also like, regardless, I don't want to see all that, like not even in like a sexualized manner. It's just like, why do you have your stomach out?
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Even as like college students, we're not allowed to have midriff,
Yeah.
Like the fuck? Like I am over the age of 18 and I'm not allowed to show my stomach.
Right.
So
I'm still trying to figure out where that even came from, but that's not the point.
Probably like a correction standpoint. Like probably teachers don't want to touch you if you're not wearing clothes. That too. Like I know, like, Abby is a woman and like that sort of thing. It's like we feel like less uncomfortable by like, women touching women. But at the same time, like, you don't know. Right. And also like, why do you feel comfortable touching like that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, you were a part of like my choreographic process, and I would like it, to me as a person of authority, it felt weird.
Yeah.
Like, so I don't understand how teachers can so confidently touch bare skin, especially the stomach area.
Yeah. No, because it's very touchy. And like I don't know. I don't like being touched, but like I also understand that like there's a lot of corrections that you can only fix from touching someone. But especially at a young age, it's harder to like obtain that consent. And then also, I mean, they're old enough to be like yes or no, but like when you go even younger, it's like, it's harder to like get that yes or no, or like, they'll be like, they'll say a different option or like whatever. So it's like even, there's a whole like gray area with that sort of thing, but I don't know. Just
it's definitely, it's very tricky and definitely not something that I don't get it. I don't get it.
Yeah, but like children should be well covered up to the point that like they can still move,
right?
But like they aren't being, like they're like grown adults wearing more clothes than you are.
Right. I feel like this is if I were in a studio environment, like this is my dress code idea for children. Not the internet, because I already gave my stance on how I feel about children on the internet.
Yeah.
And I'm very not okay with it.
Yeah.
But in a classroom,
I'm just surprised they were allowed to do that. Like, because there was like to a point like people weren't allowed to be in bikinis until like a certain time and period,
Yeah.
So it's crazy that like children were allowed to be in these like very revealing things on cable TV,
Right. Like, it's weird.
Yeah.
It's so weird to me. But anyways, in a studio setting, like at the bare minimum, a leotard with bike shorts.
Yeah.
Leggings.
Yeah.
Maybe a t-shirt over it.
Absolutely.
Like
somewhere where I can see what's going wrong, but that you aren't exposed to the elements in a way that like you could hurt yourself on the floor, or you could get like burn, or like like burning yourself on the floor, or burning yourself on the bar, or like so many other things, like someone accidentally scratching you, or like that sort of thing. I shouldn't be worried about like cutting you accidentally because I like moved my hand in the wrong way.
Right. Yeah. And also, like, even if the dancer is like wearing a t-shirt, especially if there are tricks involved, like I'm always a strong advocate for just wear a leotard under it.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not a bit like just put on a freaking leotard, because honestly, it makes, even like as a college,
I cannot dance without a leotard underneath a shirt.
I can't dance without a leotard either. But like another thing is like when I would see my friends doing tricks and like they forget to tuck their shirts in. That makes me uncomfortable because it feels like I think it's like secondhand embarrassment, because it's like,
see, like tucking a shirt in is not enough for me either, because like no matter how much I tuck it in like properly or anything, it's gonna come out. I don't know how people do it. There's someone I have specifically in mind, and they always wear a shirt tucked into their leggings.
Yeah.
And I just like I wish I could be you, but I don't know how, because like mine's always getting like bunched up or like whatever. It's like, how are you doing this consistently? What am I doing wrong? Like, what are your secrets?
Right. When I would forget to wear a leotard underneath my
like you wouldn't go. I'm just kidding.
like whatever my outfit is for whatever, like it just, I'm constantly at it.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's just taking you away from the actual class.
Yeah. So I was always a leotard person.
Yeah.
I support leotards as an undergarment.
Absolutely.
But, yeah. Anyways, I could go on and on and on about that too. But also just as I mentioned, and I want to say this as a complete sentence, that I don't like. I think that when you're publicizing dances of any kind, you have to consider like this is the importance of also informed consent.
Absolutely.
Is like how are other people going to interpret the dance? How are people going to interpret the costume?
Yeah.
Like, is it going to be like, I obviously don't view, I don't immediately think like sexual.
Yeah.
Like, but I do think about it on behalf of like myself, on behalf of the dancers. Like,
Yeah, out of concern.
Out of concern. Like, is it safe?
Absolutely. And, like, it's just irresponsible. And, like, you can't play the card of, like, oh, well, I didn't know it was going to get that much attention. Because it's, like, as soon as you put anything on the internet, you have to assume that it's going to get attention. Right. Or that people are going to know that, like, you posted that. You shouldn't be posting things that, like nowadays, that you are embarrassed or would be embarrassed if someone find it. Because it is so easy to find things about people and trace things back to other people. And especially to have that haunting someone for the rest of their life. It's like, it's just not fair. The same thing with, like, I could go on about, like, recording people in public without their consent.
Yeah. That's a whole other thing.
Yeah. But, like, you know, especially, like, children, but, like, as you know, as adults, like, I don't want to, like, let me exist in public without being recorded, please. Right. Please. But you have to think about these things. Because it's just not fair.
Right.
Like, absolutely. TV, you've signed a contract, you know, like, whatever. You made that choice.
If they're adults. And they
absolutely.
Yeah. This is different because they're children.
Yeah. I mean, you made that choice, but at the same time, it's like, you obviously deserve, like, the same respect, but, like, whatever.
Yeah.
But, yeah. No, it's just completely different.
Yeah. But also, I will say in defense of the moms that I don't think they knew what they were signing on to.
Oh, not at all.
But also, I mean... We can delve into going back to our original topic of dance moms.
We're talking about dance moms adjacent.
We're talking about dance moms adjacent and just our overall whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
But talking about costumes, like a lot of there are some costumes that were fine, like for a competition.
Yeah.
I'm personally a person who feels very strongly about putting kids in tights.
Yeah.
And you know, anybody, unless you...
I feel naked if I'm not wearing tights on stage.
Exactly. I think that everybody, even in the professional world, even just in in any dance world, like, there has to be some sort of informed consent before you put a dancer out in bare legs.
That, and also, like, if you need this consent or whatever, you need to provide multiple ways of finding this consent. It can't just be, like, you telling someone that they're going to do it and then being like, well, they didn't say anything, so they're obviously okay with it.
That's not informed consent.
No, because, like, what if I'm afraid to say something to you in person? And the only way I can say that is, like, through text or through someone else saying it for me, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Huge problem. And that was something that I was actually having a discussion about this with with a mentor of mine. And one of the things we talked about was like my concern with dance moms is like, what's the issue with, like, why is not where I'm trying to figure out how to word it. What's the problem? Like, why is there a problem with, not like, What's the issue with tights is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Because in all of the dances that I've watched on Dance Moms especially, there are no tights. It's bare leg.
That's crazy.
Well, there were a couple where there were some tights, especially in the earlier seasons. But as the seasons went on, and especially when there were costume controversies, they were wearing...
And there's a lot of them.
Oh, there's some... I mean, it's going to be hard to, like, talk about everything.
Yeah, I mean, we can't. It's just, like, the over-sexualization and just the over, everything of children on stage has always been an issue and has been amplified by dance moms.
Yes. Yes. That's a great way of putting it.
Yeah. Because obviously dance moms did not start this concept.
Yeah.
Because the dance world has always been like that. Because also... I'm not going to go. Never mind. I'm not going to say that.
Okay. No worries. There's a specific episode that I want to reference as I'm talking about this because, I mean, there were a lot of episodes with controversial costumes.
Yeah. That's also like reality TV. They have to keep you talking somehow.
There was this one costume where it was season 1, episode 2, electricity.
Okay.
I don't know.
Like, pulled that out. Okay.
I pulled that out for all the Dance Moms fans. Pulled that right.
I don't even know how many seasons there are, so there's that.
8.
8, okay.
I think 7 or 8.
Damn.
No, it's definitely 8. Anyways.
8? That was 2019. Hello.
Well, there were
breaks.
Yeah, we know why though.
Yeah.
But
so even later, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Anyways, shut up.
But in that episode, the big controversy was the costumes, and the moms were saying, Abby, like, these costumes are not appropriate for my kid to wear.
Yeah.
Like,
and that was like a fun point for them to be like,
it was a fun point.
Screw you, blah, 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 blah. Like these real concerns said by real moms about their children, and then Abby being like, well, you're crazy for having this opinion. Like,
right,
whatever.
That's basically what it was. And also, like, the dance was inappropriate too.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that.
And like, if you disagreed, then okay, well, you can get off the show. It's
not just get off the show, but it was, you're on the bottom of the pyramid.
Yeah.
Like, if the mom says something.
Oh, the new talking point is the categorization. Oh my god, the categorization. I can't even say a different word. What is the word? My god. The ranking of each of the children in how they were doing that week and how they were dancing.
Awful. I need to share, because that actually did impact me, but give me 1 second.
Yeah.
I just want to finish this thought real quick.
Go ahead.
But I feel like at that point in time, something should have been done about that.
Yeah.
I guess, like, it doesn't matter if it was for entertainment or not. Abby and the producers, because I'm gonna also blame the producers.
Yeah.
They should have protected the kid. Like, they should have protected the kids.
Yeah, because there's only, like, obviously they signed a contract, but like I feel like it's unethical to be like, you have to say yes to all of these things, otherwise you're out, because that is not how consent works. Obviously, right. You signed a contract, but like, contracts only go so far.
Yeah.
And that's just like, you should be able to say yes or no to things like that.
Right.
Or things that are causing your child harm or causing your child emotional damage.
And what also was like, and then there was, in like season 7, there was another controversial dance where the girls were like dancing with chairs, and it was sexual. Mm-hmm. And the moms were in support of it. I think the girls
were in support of it?
They were.
Oh god.
They were teenagers.
Oh. The moms?
The moms, the girls.
They were teenagers?
They were like older teenagers.
Oh, the children were.
The children were teenagers.
I was asking if the moms were teenagers.
No.
Anyways.
No. They did another dance with chairs, and Abby did not choreograph it. This was after, like, this was when the Irreplaceables era started.
These words mean nothing to me.
But it will mean something to the dance moms.
Okay.
But pretty much the Dance Moms fans. Yeah. But basically in season 7, the girls.
I didn't realize the main character got replaced. Hello.
Well, the older girls abandoned Abby because this was like when she was going to prison and stuff, and she abandoned them first. Anyways, but whatever.
She abandoned them by going to prison. I'm just kidding.
No, that wasn't it.
It was a joke.
There were other things involved. But I don't, and correct me if I'm wrong, but in that area, the girls did consent.
Okay.
Or I don't know if they officially consented, but none of them, when I've seen conversations online about it, I don't know, but Abby was, but that's not, the consent part is not the point here. The point here was that Abby was so mad when she was like, this is so inappropriate, like,
and she's what? Hello?
Yeah, like she was livid about that dance because she said it was inappropriate for them.
Girl, have you looked at yourself and what you're doing? Hello?
Right. So
just because it's not as blatant as that doesn't mean you're not sexualizing your kids, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, I just wanted to mention that too.
That's crazy.
But yeah, so it's very tricky, and I pretty much just hypocrited myself there by almost trying to say that they never consent. I don't know if they consented to it.
Okay.
I doubt it because it was reality TV.
Yeah.
But I wanted to look at like the Abby point of view, and the fans were also pretty upset with it.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense.
But anyways, that's the point I wanted to get at, and I also think you were talking. Now we'll get to the other topic, which is the pyramid. Yippee. And rankings, and I do want to talk about that too. Mm-hmm. I do feel like that affected me in like a negative way in the dance world, unconsciously. It was like a subconscious thing where I became a lot more like competitive in a bad way.
Okay.
I became a dick.
Yeah.
Not openly. Not openly, but
mentally.
Mentally I was stuck on like the competitive mindset. And so I noticed, and maybe this is a good thing, but I feel like dance moms also allow, like, I notice favoritism a lot more.
Okay. Because of
dance moms.
Interesting.
Like, I mean, I don't know how to, like, describe it.
See, I've always been at the bottom of the pyramid, so, like, I was never, like, competitive in that way, because I was always like, I suck. I'm learning things. Like, I've never been like, wow, I think I'm like good at this, whatever. It's like, I'm being here because everybody else hates me and doesn't want me to be here. That's the only reason I'm here. So
when I was younger, I used to be pretty like mentally I was like, I'm older, so I'm the best.
Nah.
This was middle school me.
I mean, that's just like how things are. I mean, you know, you have to give yourself some grace.
Yeah, but I mean, it came with me. So
you're still a bitch.
but like, even I don't want to say where this happened, but because I'm not going to say where, but there was a time when I would, and even now, like, I look at dancers around me and I see a pyramid.
Oh.
I see who's on the top. I see who's on the middle, and I'm on the bottom right now. But
I understand that, because it's like you do see all this favoritism with teachers and stuff like that.
Dance moms amplified it. It gave me that pyramid perspective.
Gotcha. Yeah, I really try not to look at it like that, because otherwise I will hate my life. So
that's probably a good thing. See, I always go to like the worst possible thing all the time.
Yeah. I just don't need another reason to hate myself.
Yeah. I get it. But what did you want to, I mean, I kind of started the topic, but you had somewhere to go with it.
I mean, I'm sure you're not the only person who had that experience growing up. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm sure that was like a common thing, because I'm sure that like the studio I grew up in like saw me that way, that I was always on the bottom of the pyramid, even though that's how I felt. Like, I wasn't trying to be competitive, whatever. I was just trying to exist, you know?
Yeah.
And especially like when you're young, it's, I don't know. Whatever. Having competition is important. It motivates a lot of people. I'm not really motivated by competition, but so like that's important for kids and that sort of thing, but like not in that sense that like it's just supposed to be like fun and like learning things, like new things when you're younger. Like it's really toxic to like only be doing something because of the competitiveness of it. At least at that age. Like, I know a lot of people are like that, but like to amplify that is really toxic.
It's very unhealthy.
Yeah.
And even I've never the pyramid, especially, like that, it really does leave me speechless that it also, kids like, that young would be exposed to something like that.
Yeah, and it also like greenlights people into thinking that that's okay, like just regular day to day. Because in my freshman year we had like a jokingly one, we all printed our headshots and put it on a pyramid or whatever. But like we only used it once. It was like mostly a joke, but like obviously we're all thinking it, you know. Yeah. We all have our own like pyramid or whatever. Especially like when you're living in like a dorm environment. It's like, who was acting the worst this week? Who was whatever. But just like allowing people to like be like, well, they're doing this with kids, like it's obviously okay that like adults do it too, or like whatever, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just really toxic. It's just we don't need more toxicity in the dance world. It's already very toxic.
The dance world the dance world can be divided into like so many different like different branches. Dance has a lot of branches. And every branch has a whole heck of a lot of toxicity in it.
Oh, definitely. Because the arts is mostly done by people who are rich and who are able to you know, do all these things, and who are, wait, it's allowing these tropes to be continuously played out and just be like, oh, well, it's okay because my favorite show is doing these types of things. So like it's like, I'm sure like the pyramid thing existed before. Obviously we're not saying that Dance Moms like created all these things, but like now it's like being blended into real life rather than just the dance world.
Yeah.
The arts is full of people who have nothing better to do than to insult people.
Right.
And to think that like people are awful at their craft and whatever.
There's a heck of a lot of entitlement.
Yeah. And you know, as we continuously like involve people of other, you know, backgrounds and stuff like that to enter spaces and to like, you know, actually succeed and, you know, be able to become professionals and stuff like that, those things are going to change.
Right.
Obviously that's what we're trying to do, you know, trying to make it more inclusive and trying to make it like less toxic. But it really starts at like deframing these things.
Right. Like we have to talk about these things in order for things to, you know, get better.
Yeah. So, you know, over competitiveness is not good. Obviously it drives people, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. But like
there's taking it too far.
Yeah. Like hating your peers is not a good thing.
Yeah.
There's a reason that America has an issue with community issues. You know, like the reason that America doesn't have a community, like to really back up, be a backup on.
Yeah, there's a lot of reasons for that we won't get into.
Yeah. But like, dance is obviously a very big community that like is, you know, where a lot of people reside because dance is like 100% of people's times.
Yeah, so. Absolutely. Thank you for watching this episode of Dissecting Dance, Kicking It with Ren podcast. If you can hear the wonderful background music, those are water bottles. This is your sign that you should relax and drink some water. Anyways, a new episode will be uploaded every other Thursday. Thank you for watching.